What kind of keyboard do you have?
That's just the new Mac's keyboard. It
Ah,
has like it's not it's tiny. I don't know.
welcome to Web of Tomorrow. I'm Adam Harris, and this week we've got Zouhir Chahoud. He's a web engineer, focuses on UI, and he aims to make the mobile web as native as possible. He organizes the Sydney Progressive Web Apps Meetup group, and he also helps Arabic-speaking refugees get a better life by teaching them how to code. And he's also the creator of Preact Habitat. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks, Adam.
First, let's talk a little bit about what is Preact for anyone who doesn't know.
Preact is its alternative library to React that almost everyone knows. It's just lightweight and has the same API. So if you already have the React code, you can convert it to Preact in like 2 minutes because it's the same ES6 API. No need to change anything. However, it's lightweight, around 3 kilobytes. Yeah, so Preact is currently my new favorite. I'm using it actually at my job and also my side experimentations and little projects.
Cool. So do you know anyone on the Preact team?
Yeah, actually, I know the maker of Preact. I only met him after he created the library, and he started talking about his library. I saw him tweeting about it, and so everyone like really impressed. I heard them being mentioned many times from Google engineers in their talks and conferences and stuff. So yeah, decided to look at it, and once I decided to try it, I had like a React code base, and I just aliased it, and it worked. I didn't change anything.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so kind of followed him on Twitter, and we started chatting a few times. Yeah, he's a pretty smart guy. He's really smart, and love his work. Many people like keep saying, "Oh, it's lightweight. It can be not compatible 100%. Can have bugs. Can have not supported." I don't know. Like I've heard many people scared of the size. Honestly, we're gonna go to production using it at Qantas Airways. So far, it's passing all our tests and all our cases. We don't have any really edge case where Preact didn't work. So it's working like really well for us on IE9 plus and all browsers. So yeah, but again, I wouldn't know like if it's gonna work for Google or Facebook or other people, because I'm pretty sure there is some justification for Facebook's 190 kilobytes. So not really sure.
Yeah. I mean, and then
Yeah.
if you did run into any problems with it, you could just switch to React really easily.
Yeah, exactly. And I can also use like React. If there is kind of any React component I would like to get to my project, all I need to do is, if it's like React, let's say select or React, I don't know, map or React something, and someone wrote a plugin for it, and it's like just ready to be picked up and dropped in my project, I can just I can always alias to Preact, and in my Webpack configs, and just things should work out of the box. So it's pretty exciting and interesting. I really think it's gonna be it's gonna only get bigger and better, especially now everyone is like trying to fiddle with it or already like putting it in their projects and building things with it. So yeah, I quite like it.
Yeah. So what is Preact Habitat then?
So Preact Habitat started when I was at work, kind of thinking of a way where we have a component that has to be put into multiple websites, single login, and other booking stuff and points stuff and etc. Like few things that need to be repeated in multiple websites. As my employer has lots of websites and lots of pages that can reuse things. And as I said, login is one of them. I wanted to build a widget or a component, and I want the other team who owns another code base, another project in my organization to just plug it and should work out of the box. It's like pasting some Google Map JavaScript and initializing it, or like something, just put the script in your HTML and my React component will work, because we don't want iframes and we don't want them to put extra effort in changing anything or making anything. So what the Habitat does is you use it to render your Preact component, but it won't ask you specify the DOM element where you want it to be rendered. Like, you don't have to say, I want it to be rendered in a div that is called login dash widget dash something. You don't say anything. You just put it to render, and wherever you put the script in the HTML, it will just load there. There is also ability to make multiple clones. So if you have a login widget and you want it in a modal and you want it in a side off-canvas off-canvas mobile navigation menu or something, you can repeat the same widget multiple times. And that was the initial kind of idea where it started. Everyone loved it at work. However, the business needed something other than what I'm exactly building. So I have a script tag, and I say that's widget config. It's the type is widget config. It doesn't render. It just holds configuration for the widget. The business like to have data attributes instead of like a script config. So I kept my first initial prototype. I kept it on the side and did another version that actually meets my my business expectations, and we managed it on a private repo for work. And this one, like, I really did want to make it to put it out there, and maybe other people will benefit from it if they want to make like some video player, if they want to make some login widget and send it to the outside world, to blogs, WordPress, PHP websites, or Java applications. Something there should benefit from it. So that was the idea, and that's how it works.
So what were you saying about the configs?
If, let's say, I want to clone my widget in another place in the DOM, the clone has to be inside a script tag in the DOM, and the script tag should have a type, but type is not application JSON or like text JavaScript or something. The type is widget/configs. This script will actually not be rendered at all. It will just hold the JSON object that I will be looking at, that Preact Habitat will look at in order to know if it needs to clone other versions of the repo. And what it can also do, which I have it on my to-do list for the Habitat, it can hold the props. So if your website wants to give me props, if, let's say, video ID, if you want to give me video ID or you want to give me something, you can put it in this JSON and I can take it to my component as a prop. So that's now on my first item on my to-dos.
Okay.
Probably we'll build it in the next couple of days.
Yeah, I was looking in the issues, and that was one of the first issues I saw, was the ability to take props. I've been playing around with it a bit, and I feel a little limited on what I can build until props are available. Like you mentioned a video player. One of the things I would like to make is an audio player. But you at the minimum need to be able to pass what the audio file is or something.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think having props will add a lot of more value to the component. But again, I will actually be putting it out there. So maybe people can help me decide if they would like to have props on data attributes, or they would like to keep it inside like config thing. So I would also like to get insights, what people like more or better. Again, my business likes the data attributes. I like the JSON config. So I would like to take open source community's opinion on this and build something that is better for all of us. Yeah,
I mean, I think it could probably work either way as well.
Yeah, I can have both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's a pretty lightweight, and adding multiple options and then importing one of them will not affect you at all. So if you just specify, if I can like make it 2-in-1 to take either props or to take it like data attributes or take other thing, but you don't use both at the same time. So the size should be always like pretty perfect, I think.
Okay, so the way it works is you build a Preact component, and then you run npm run build, and then you end up with a bundled JS file, right?
Yes, the JS file is UMD, so you can just you can just put it anywhere you want.
And so what's included in that bundle JS file? Is it all of Preact plus your component?
Yeah, so it includes 3 kilobytes of Preact and 1 kilobyte for my component, and then your component. So
Okay.
you will start at 4 kilobytes and you build on top of it. So if your component is like 60 kilobytes, it will become 64.
Okay. Nice.
The login component I put on the demo website was 18. I built another component. It was much bigger, and it had Redux. It had other stuff. It was 58. With Redux, if you add Redux, you add also 1 more kilobyte or maybe 2 more kilobytes.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I
That's
mean,
really
Redux
good.
is also like very lightweight. So Redux is very lightweight. So it's not. If you just add it, you're not bloating anything.
So is this your first open source project?
Kind of, yeah. I've been out there watching open source and Twitter since probably February last year. By February last year, I mean every day. So prior to that, I used to look at Twitter maybe once a week and GitHub when I need something. But since February last year, I started to follow people on Twitter that actually very active in open source and start looking at packages even if I don't need them. Try to shift my focus on looking at what I need at work and use it to look at everything and get some inspirations, get some ideas. I was pretty happy looking at other people's ideas, other people's way of doing things. So since February last year till today, I'm actively looking at engaging with people on social media, on GitHub specifically, because unfortunately I can't always justify putting time to contribute from my work. So I have always to do it night times or on side things. I have small minor contributions. I have I don't know. I have multiple other repos I started but didn't really make it out there because it was something for myself. I love to put out there. But yeah, this one I think few people liked it, and I consider it my first really nice thing that other people will really benefit from it if they wanted.
Yeah, I can tell you put some effort into it. Like the logo, for instance. It's really cool. Who made that logo?
I actually made it.
Nice.
One of the things is if I want to put something out there, I like it to be very polished and perfect. I put an effort in everything I do. I like details. So it was actually it's not something very genius to do once you know the recipe. I just find cool icons and play with the sketch a bit, grab photo from there, icon from there, color it a bit, or yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's fascinating. I think how just putting a little bit of effort into some sort of logo, anything really that looks decent is going to make your repo look a lot more professional. Like even your little icons next to each header is a nice touch.
I actually started this idea when I made a little VS Code theme. So I made my own because I wanted to work with VS Code, but I hated all the themes there. So I made my own theme. It has little CSS issues. That's probably why it didn't really go viral. Anyway, so. I started this in that repo, and I put VS Code icons next to each Markdown headers. So I think I like this. I'll be repeating it always.
Nice. So if you want to make 2 or 3 Preact components and share them on and use them on another website, would you have 3 copies of Preact, or could you bundle them all together?
for now you have to ship only one bundle per component. So yes, you will have 3 kilobytes repeated multiple times. But I think if you really like one vendor and you want to ship 3 components together, I need to think of something for that. So probably you won't have a script that is embedded inside a div you want. You will have a script at the bottom that has your 3 widgets together, and then like empty divs or empty scripts to load your habitat in them. But for now, yes, you will have to repeat 3 kilobytes 3 times.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, so I think we've touched on a couple of these, but what features do you want to add in the future?
First thing I'm working on is adding the ability to pass props. Hopefully, we'll ship the first version of it sometime very, very soon. Another thing I want to add is write a little tutorial about my experience in isolating the CSS, because your global page CSS might sometimes affect the Preact component CSS and styling. So I've had some experience with that, and I would like to compose it in a blog post or some kind of README or something on a few ways to tackle these issues and limit external CSS in the page to affect your components. Third thing I want to do is I want to have an inline option. Inline option means the widget will be mounted wherever the script is. So wherever you put the script in the HTML, the widget will be mounted there. But as you said, you might want to build 3 widgets and put each one of them in a specific place. So I will make an option to make it like not inline and put the script at the bottom of your body and load 3 different things like a login and like a video player and audio player, 2 widgets from the same bundle that use the same Preact, not repeated multiple times. Yeah, so those 3 things on my bucket list. I mean the CSS thing is not a feature, but it is something that everyone worries about when they want to build Preact component or React or Preact component and ship to other projects on other places, and it's still an issue in many projects that your global CSS and global stuff is affecting the behavior of the component. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that right now. What are some of the things you can do to prevent that global CSS problem? So let's say your widget is like my sample login widget had like a button and had a couple of text boxes. The global style will affect it, and unless you reset every component to its initial specifications and initial styles, like reset it, CSS reset to all the basics, and then let whatever CSS you have bundled and you have coded in your Preact component apply its own styles.
So that's one option, I guess, but that sounds pretty hard.
Actually, you can do it just as an all initial thing, but all initial thing will not cover all browsers. I think it's IE 10 plus, so it's IE 10 plus. So in every input you say all initial, and it will get everything to the initial state. Another thing is it can be bundling a little CSS reset. I don't know. I have to experiment with this more, and putting it under the namespace of our parent CSS thing, because it is pretty impossible to make it like iframe, to make iframe isolation, strong isolation like an iframe. It's very, very hard. So kind of it will only work once I start experimenting and putting it into multiple places, and I get a few Preact contributors or a few other friends on Twitter or something to also plug it into their pages. You know what I mean? And someone will find a problem, report a bug, and we try to fix it, because I'm pretty sure I will be able to cover 90% of the cases in resetting and stuff, but I won't be able to cover 100% until I work on it with with other projects, I can inspect and investigate the issues and stuff like that. There is also an issue that UX, like kind of its usability issue, where your widget will depend on a parent page media queries, which is not recommended at all. Design has to be always fluid, and it has to be like independent to anything outside in the page. Otherwise, you have to keep maintaining your work that you ship to another project or another organization's website or stuff. So, there is few CSS nodes. Yeah, I will be like focusing on them later on during February month.
Nice. That all initial thing sounds pretty cool. I'd never heard of that.
Yeah, it is. All initial will basically gives you basic reset for every to the basic specifications.
Yeah, nice. So, is there any final things you'd like to say?
Oh yeah. So one thing I really loved about this project is I didn't expect like a 90 or kind of 95, I don't know, 100 favorites on Twitter and like so much retweets and so much interact. That really gave me like a bit of more energy to allocate like more time and carefully like keep my eye on it and dedicate like more time during the next month to make it better for myself and for the other people who actually liked it on GitHub and Twitter and everything, because every star and every like I got on these social networks means an interest of someone will be using it that will save them time and effort to repeating the same thing. So kind of excited to put more effort into making it really better and yeah, that was like really positive energy I got from social media, and I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to find it if it wasn't for people starring it and tweeting it. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, so kind of as a first really like nice thing. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to keep improving it and keep it better. Especially my eye is always on Preact too, so I'm into daily conversations with Preact on Preact channel with core team and with contributors and stuff. So yeah, having my eye on Preact will always make Preact Habitat up to date with all the new mindset of where things are going. There is also an interesting project for Preact web components. So you use Preact to make web components. I will be probably collaborating with the maker of that project and bounce some ideas and see where we can go from there. Because web components with Preact is a really interesting idea I found the other day on GitHub, and the maker of it is in our Preact Slack channel. You get answers from people who made plugins for Preact, and Preact maker himself is also very open to questions and very very like very nice person. So
cool. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. It was pretty nice, and wish you good best of luck because it's a pretty amazing idea. I like it.